That's why Manny Pacquiao, after off, that was a bad knockout.
Manny Pacquiao is negotiating with Barrios to fight at 147. No tears. I haven't heard one tear. That Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao has been in serious negotiation.
Joe Rogan's face said it all. Somewhere between disbelief and a looming headache, Joe Rogan's expression captured what many were thinking. On his podcast, Between the Jokes and Jabs, he cut through the noise. This could end badly, really badly. Manny Pacquiao, 8 world titles across 8 weight classes. Who does that? And the way he did it. Ruthless. Beautiful. Rogan even said, "I'm a huge fan of Cotto, I love this sport." But still, no amount of admiration can mask what's staring us all in the face. Let's be clear, Mario Barrios isn't exactly the second coming of Sugar Ray Leonard. But he's 30. He's active. He's hungry. While Pacquiao spent the last 4 years shaking hands in a suit, navigating politics and public service, Barrios was still deep in the trenches, grinding through gym wars, cutting weight, eating punches in sparring. So why is this fight happening? One word, money. That's the only honest answer: cold, hard, brutal economics. Boxing isn't pretending to be a meritocracy anymore. It's a carnival. A spectacle. Fights get made based on pay-per-view potential, not merit. And Pacquiao? He still pulls numbers. His name still draws clicks. He's a living legend with a fan base bigger than most countries' populations. But none of that means he belongs in the ring, especially not against Barrios. Pacquiao's journey from 108 pounds all the way to 154, stopping guys along the way, was the stuff of legend. But that was then. And Joe Rogan's warning starts to feel more like prophecy. Because this fight isn't just about a belt. It's about legacy. It's about health. It's about the future. Let's not forget the Marquez knockout, the one that left Manny face down, motionless, a million hearts worldwide skipping a beat. That wasn't just a loss, it was trauma. And now, older, slower, and 4 years removed from real competition, we're supposed to believe he can walk into a championship bout and win. This isn't Rocky. There's no training montage that turns back the clock. No hill run with Freddie Roach holding a stopwatch can reverse biology. Reaction time doesn't return with motivation. Time doesn't care who you were. Even Spencer Oliver, former fighter turned analyst, didn't sugarcoat it. This is a farce. Boxing abandoning all logic. Pacquiao's last performance wasn't inspiring. It was a whisper of former greatness. He didn't just lose to Yordanis Ugas. He looked flat. Faded. Human. And yet, the WBC ranks him 5th. On what basis? Nostalgia. If that's the new standard, let's bring back Tyson. Call Lennox Lewis. Hand out belts like souvenirs. Forget the rankings. Forget contenders. Just lean into the circus. And that's the real tragedy. Barrios should be defending his belt against young, dangerous contenders, fighters climbing the ladder, fighting their way to the top. Instead, he's fighting a retired senator like it's 2010 all over again. Even Frank Warren, always the businessman, didn't pretend otherwise. Pacquiao's return isn't a sporting miracle. It's a marketing ploy. Yes, George Foreman did it once. But Foreman's style aged like whiskey. He relied on size, power, and timing. Pacquiao? He was all speed, movement, angles. That's not something you keep at 46. That's what age takes first. After the Marquez KO, Freddie Roach begged Pacquiao to take a year off. That was a bad knockout, he said. Because this sport doesn't forgive. It doesn't offer soft landings. This isn't golf. It's not tennis. When you lose in boxing, you lose with broken ribs, concussions, detached retinas. And sometimes, you don't come back the same. If Barrios lands clean, and it only takes one, what happens then? Pacquiao's chin isn't ageless. It's been tested more times than fans care to count. KO'd. Dropped. Shaken. Every shot adds up, and by now, his chin has taken more missiles than a battlefield. Even Oscar de la Hoya, one of Pacquiao's old rivals, couldn't stay silent. His message, at 46, rest is your best friend. And maybe that's the saddest part. Manny still has the heart, but his body may not have the fuel left to follow through. Yordanis Ugas, the man who last beat Pacquiao, said it best: nobody wins this fight. If Barrios wins, it's because Manny's old. If Manny wins, boxing standards are in the dirt. Either way, someone's getting discredited. Barrios himself doesn't gain much. Beat a 46-year-old and you get no props. Lose to him? You're a meme. Either way, here's the villain. Even Tim Tszyu, always respectful, sounded worried. Pacquiao's name might carry weight, but that won't save him when Barrios starts letting his hands go. This isn't mitt work with Roach for Instagram. It's live fire. And even the most loyal Pacquiao fans, true diehards, are uneasy. Because no one wants to watch a hero fall. No one wants to watch a king crumble under the lights. But that's the uncomfortable truth this fight invites. Joe Rogan isn't being cruel. He's just the messenger. The issue isn't Manny's heart. It's his body. It's the mileage. And time, in this sport, always collects. The last dance, Pacquiao, Barrios, and boxing's reckoning. The hundreds of rounds. The training camps. The brutal weight cuts. The lonely miles jogged at dawn. The sparring wars we never saw. The injuries no one ever disclosed. It all adds up. And maybe, just maybe, Manny Pacquiao knows that too. Maybe that's why this fight is happening now. One last dance. One last check. One final roar from the crowd before the lights fade forever. But what if that final roar ends in silence? If they drug-tested Pacquiao, the results might light up like a carnival bell, like one of those Bugs Bunny strength test games, the kind where the mallet hits and the bell rings loud and hollow. This is more than a fight. It's a plea for sanity. For someone, anyone, to step in and say, enough. It's a moment for Mario Barrios to ask himself, does he want to be the man who ends a legend, or the man who watches one fall and feels nothing but emptiness? Because let's be real. If Pacquiao loses badly, the headlines won't praise Barrios. They'll read, Pacquiao was done. They'll say, we told you so. And if, by some miracle, Manny wins, boxing still loses. The floodgates will open. Every retired fighter with a name and a pulse will chase one last payday. And the sport will spiral deeper into chaos. So what do? We watch. We wait. And we hope, perhaps foolishly, that Manny walks away with his health, his pride, and his legend intact. And maybe, just maybe, Barrios hears the warning before it's too late. Because fighting Pacquiao isn't just dangerous for Pacquiao. It's dangerous for the sport. For the truth. For whatever legitimacy boxing still clings to. And now the lights flicker on again. Here comes the real question. What happens when boxing's most electrifying storyteller walks into a tale that ends not in triumph, but in warning? Picture the moment. Pacquiao moves like he still believes in magic. Barrios stands firm, wielding the cold arithmetic of youth and power. The crowd holds its breath. Coaches hover ringside, muttering strategies like secret spells. Every punch is a syllable in a sentence that could end a career. In that moment, boxing itself picks up the pen, writing either a tragedy or a miracle with every blow. Even Barrios seemed overwhelmed at first. It's a great honor, he said. A mix of respect and the weight of consequence. But behind the gloves, there's another player in the ring, big money. Promoters clean their glasses and scan spreadsheets swollen with pay-per-view projections. Pacquiao's name glows like a neon sign in Times Square. Every ticket sold is another reason to ignore the human cost. Television execs circle the event like vultures. They envision slow-mo replays, dramatic voiceovers, knockout blow rewinds. Every commercial break pulses with the promise of profit. Commentators have already drafted the narratives, months before the first punch is thrown. But no amount of hype can cancel the danger hiding in every corner of that ring. Backstage, trainers pace like detectives before a verdict. They tape hands, check gloves, and glance sideways at each other, knowing conditioning only gets you so far. The rest depends on reflexes. And reflexes age like everything else. They watch Pacquiao warming up. They see Barrios' shadowbox. And they know, someone's body will fold first. In bars and living rooms, fans gather. Some wear Pacquiao jerseys, rosaries clutched tight. Others don Barrios caps, ready to tweet victory in real time. Social media flares with hot takes, memes, and prayer emojis. The world watches. Because everyone loves a legend's last stand. But then comes the after. The speculation carousel. If Pacquiao falls early, does his legacy crack like old pottery? If he endures, is he a myth reborn, or a man defying reason? Boxing historians will debate it for decades. Sports psychologists will dissect it. They'll publish studies on the psychology of comebacks, the thin line between courage and denial. Yet behind the stats and headlines lies a raw truth. The ring only rewards survivors. Reporters will chase quotes from ex-opponents, dust off old footage, cut together montages of Manny's lightning flurries and Barrios' steady jab. Every column will feel like a tribute. Or an obituary. Podcasters will argue into microphones. They'll bring in ex-champs, referees, ring girls, replaying every soundbite, overanalyzing every pause. Meanwhile, gym rats will either train harder, convinced age is just a number, or step away early, haunted by what they saw. Coaches will rewrite plans. Add more recovery. Less war, more wisdom. Pacquiao's final fight will hang in gyms like a poster, a celebration, or a warning. Legal experts will study contracts. Search for clauses about medical checks and liability. Did someone cross a line? Did money matter more than safety? Law journals will fill with arguments over athlete welfare and corporate ethics. Because the ring won't just stain gloves that night, it'll stain legal briefs, too. And then there's the cultural heart of this, the Philippines. To his people, Pacquiao isn't just a boxer. His hope. A national symbol. A counterpunch to poverty. His return evokes pride and dread. Communities will fast, pray, light candles. Streets will echo with radio debates. Fight night will feel like a national holiday wrapped in anxiety. In Texas, Barrios' hometown will boom with local pride. Gyms will fill with kids shadowboxing, chasing dreams. Bars will hang signs, Barrios defends honor.